All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
The Houston County District Attorney plans to seek the death penalty for a man who killed his neighbor. James Johnson Jr. is facing capital murder charges for the rape and murder of 57-year-old Sherry Clark. Family members called in police to look for Clark when she didn't show up for work at the Dothan Municipal Airport. Her body was then found tied up, gagged, stabbed, and dead inside her bedroom in November of 2024. District Attorney Kirk Adams called the crime scene one of the most brutal he's ever been at. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. So far this year, over 2,600 homes have sold and closed in the River region. 55% of these homes sold in 60 days or less, and sellers are receiving close to 98% of listed price. Over the last year, average prices in the River region have increased over 10% from last year. We do have more inventory now to show buyers before they purchase. There are homes in all price ranges available for buyers interested in moving. As a seller, it's a great time to sell through a realtor and gain access to many buyers, not just one or two. If you are a buyer, having more homes to pick from gives you better choices before you buy. Our market is now more balanced between a buyer and seller market than we've seen since 2019. Get the facts, see the inventory, get a great local lender to help you, and an agent that's going to look after your interests. For all the facts, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program here. Day after Labor Day. Honestly, I still got to get my sea legs back or my radio legs back. Way too much relaxation yesterday. Over the weekend, you saw President Trump demanding that Pfizer reveal hidden vaccine data regarding Operation Warp Speed that Trump touted for years. Soon, apparently at 1 o'clock today, either Trump is going to rename the Pentagon back to the Department of War, or maybe also announce that U.S. Space Command headquarters will be relocated permanently to Rocket City, Alabama. And of course, as we headed into the weekend, a federal judge, an appeals court, actually ruled against Trump's tariffs, saying they're illegal. You also have a federal judge ruling saying that Trump using the National Guard in California was against the law. So much to cover. Joining us, as he does always on Tuesdays, the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how you doing today, sir?
Well, Joey, and like you, recovering from relaxing. In my case, the past 10 days, because I had last week off. Recovering. Are you like me in this? Relaxing.
Yeah, that's what people always ask me. What are my plans on like a few days off? I'm like, to do nothing. I work so I don't have to do things on certain days. Should be the general idea. You know, eat and be merry, good conversations, watch something funny. But generally, it takes a lot to do nothing.
Yes. It was a nice time off. I missed you last week, and I'm happy to be back with you.
Well, let's jump right into some of these court rulings. I know you've written about this, but the appeals court saying Trump's tariffs are illegal. Their ruling does not go into effect. The Supreme Court will have to decide. Trump has until October 14th. What's the, for folks who just kind of saw this as they head into their holiday weekend, what's the logic of the court here?
The logic is that a tariff is a sales tax and only Congress can impose taxes. If President Trump had gone to Congress to impose these tariffs, there'd be no litigation. But because he did it on his own, he is assuming powers that the Constitution gives directly and exclusively to the Congress. It's simple as is really Constitutional Law 101, and it's basically the same ruling as the trial court. The trial court went a step further. The appellate court said Congress did not give this power to the president. That's true. The trial court said even if Congress had given this power to the president, that gift would have been unconstitutional, since Congress cannot give away a core function that is expressly delegated to it in the Constitution. That is also true. So just as the president couldn't make the Chief Justice the commander-in-chief of the military, the Congress can't make the president the drafter of taxes. That's the theory behind the case. I don't know what the Supreme Court is going to do. The Supreme Court has lost a lot of respect amongst legal scholars in the past year because of its emergency shadow docket, where it simply says yes, no, stop, go. It doesn't give reasons for it. And usually when it does say yes, no, stop, go, it sides with President Trump. When it does that, it sows mass confusion amongst lower court judges and lawyers because we don't know the reasons why. The appeals court, knowing that the Trump administration would go to the Supreme Court, actually did a courtesy to the Trump administration and to the Supreme Court by staying its own decision, just as that judge in California, Judge Breyer, who found troops in the streets performing the jobs of police to be unconstitutional, he stayed that decision. Staying the decision means not that you have doubts about it, it means that you recognize that it's going to be appealed, and you don't want them to have to file an appeal in the middle of the night. You want to give them time to perfect their appeal.
Well, and it sounds like the trial court gave a more broader constitutional ruling. The appeals court, it seems like, ruled narrowly on the statute, whether or not the emergency that the president declared actually is allowed by the statute. And so you got to wonder, what will the Supreme Court end up doing? What was on the federal judge that says the police, you're using the National Guard like police? How does this violate the law? What's the logic of that one?
Well, when the war for Southern independence was over in 1865 and federal troops occupied the streets of major cities, including state capitals, in the states that sought independence, that was ended by a compromise which resulted in a statute called Posse Comitatus, Latin phrase, that prohibits the use of federal troops domestically for law enforcement. So Judge Charles Breyer, the older brother of the now retired Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, to whom the case was assigned, held a trial. And many of these military people testified. And after hearing this testimony, he said this, and watching videos, he said, there's no question in my mind. Well, here they are chasing a drunk driver. Here they are chasing a guy who broke into a bodega. I'm sure the LAPD is happy to have this help. But under the 1876 law, the troops cannot be used for ordinary law enforcement. Then my former colleague and friend, who happens to be the Secretary of Defense, came up with some theory called the constitutional exception. This is something that the DOJ or the DOD made up. This doesn't exist in any case law or legal theory with which I'm familiar. Basically saying that if the president authorizes it, it's okay. Well, that contradicts the Posse Comitatus statute. It doesn't matter what the president wants. He can't use the troops for law enforcement purposes. So we'll see what the Supreme Court does. If it says yes, no, stop, go under the emergency docket, it's going to sow confusion, whichever way it goes, and do a disservice to the legal community. If they want to say Trump's going to be able to can do this, they better explain how under this statute.
Real quick, what do you make of this idea that they're thinking about changing the Pentagon or the Department of Defense, I think, back to the Department of War?
Well, he can make all the announcements he wants, but that was changed by Congress in 1947. So he's also going to order IDs prior to voting. Not a bad idea, but only Congress can do it for federal elections, and only the states can do it for state and federal elections. He is again assuming powers that belong to the Congress. Have you heard a peep of complaint from those Republican leaders? Not a word.
No, not a word.
Next time you have your soon-to-be governor on, and I'm a big fan of his, ask him why Congress has become so supine, why they don't complain when the president takes their powers. Because they agree with the president? It's because if it explodes in his face, they don't want to take the blame for it? Or don't they give a damn about the Constitution?
Here. I'll definitely ask him. And last time I asked him, how's it going up there in D.C.? Oh, Joey, it's a bunch of Satanists up here. So I think he's happy to get out of town.
I think he is too. Now, I use two phrases here that should resonate with your audience. One is the war for Southern independence, and the other is your soon-to-be next governor. I don't know who's running against him. I happen to be a fan of his.
Real quick, can we throw out the flag burning executive order? Now, the executive order seems too cute by half and saying arrest people for other things while they're in the middle of desecrating the flag, and sort of like test the whole idea. My understanding of like flag burning always goes back to Murray Rothbard. It's a property right. Like, this is my cloth I bought with this design.
Correct.
What is
it's an infinitely reproducible piece of cloth. And whatever it stands for, the government can't be in the business of evaluating the content of speech. No less a fan of President Trump's than Justice Antonin Scalia said. It's free speech. You're burning your own flag, not burning a government flag. That's a different story. You're destroying government property. Of course, you can be prosecuted for that. But burning your own flag, it burn away. The government has no business evaluating the content of a speech or the political message sent by the fuel of a fire. Can they ban open fires that danger the public? Of course, but not because the flag is being burned, because of the damage that the smoke and the flames could do.
So it's basically what the Supreme Court came up with was this free speech ruling, like the First Amendment allows for this free.
Well, there are two cases. One involves the state of Texas, and then the Congress was so upset when the Supreme Court invalidated Texas's statute that Congress enacted its own. George H.W. Bush signed it into law. The Supreme Court promptly, but with an opinion, not one of these shadow yes, no, stop, go things that the Roberts Court does, issued a substantially similar opinion saying you can't do this because it's private property. You can burn your own property as long as you do so safely.
Well, and it does seem like across the board, this White House is like, we didn't even get to the firing of a Federal Reserve governor. Like, it seems like across the board, they're going to try to push the envelope and see what this new high court will actually come up with.
At some point, the high court, I'm sure, will say enough is enough. But quite frankly, as I was exaggerating a little bit, but there's truth to my argument, Congress has been supine here, and it should do something about the rapid dissipation of its authority. Right now, we have 4,400 Marines off the coast of Caracas, Venezuela. Let's see. Did Congress declare war on Venezuela? Did I miss something?
Yeah, it seems like the post-constitutional order, whatever this is, Trump is accelerating it, but it's been going on a long time. I just worry about when we go into like true imperial power grabs where they ignore the courts and the Congress altogether. But that seems to be the road we're at least walking down at this moment.
Agreed. Sadly agreed. And nicely put, Trump did not start this at all, but he has accelerated it and done it in an in-your-face way.
Absolutely. Well, I always appreciate your time, Judge. If folks want to check out what you're up to, how can they do so?
Oh, I have two superstars on today at 1:30 Eastern, Professor Jeffrey Sachs, at 3 o'clock Eastern, Scott Ritter.
Well, appreciate it as always, Judge, and God bless. Talk again soon.
Thank you, Joey. All the best. Until next week.
Again, folks, the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Always appreciate his time. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you with your pest control needs. Could be you just need that basic service. Well, they got your back there at Pest Pro Services, and they do this new monthly billing, like subscription. That way you can have controlled expected cost over the entire year, and you're getting year-round protection. And on top of that basic pest control protection, you could add things like annual termite inspections and year-round protection against termites, getting rid of mosquitoes at peak mosquito season. They'll get you on a regular schedule. You can treat your yard for ticks, for fleas. Maybe you do have something that comes up all of a sudden. You find a huge wasp nest in the back shed. Well, you already have that relationship with them. Pest Pro can come out and take care of it. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. They're very active on Facebook, always giving tips and tricks about the little pest you might see around your property. But they also highlight local athletics, are giving back to local charities, nonprofits. And I know for a fact Ashley even helps out with other local small businesses. Really great folks there at Pest Pro. Of course, you can always call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that fantastic team that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you. It is expected that there is going to be some Oval Office, White House announcement by the president. Some suspecting this rebranding of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. I actually think that is a less Orwellian name. Like, it was always interesting, like, especially after 9/11, like, well, we need a new department of, like, well, we already have a Department of Defense. Isn't the Department of Defense meant to defend against stuff like just happened? Well, we need a new Homeland Security is the new one. So we have defense, but then we have Homeland Security. But then it often seems like the use of that department that's called the DOD, the Pentagon, is used not necessarily explicitly for our national defense. It's used for all sorts of other military conflicts that have nothing to do with Americans, that most Americans couldn't point out on a map, and they're tired of being taxed for, as well as having their name drugged through the mud about. Oh, so it's the Department of War. Call it what it is. Sometimes it's offensive, sometimes it's defensive, sometimes it doesn't really even have anything to do with us. We're just helping out and for this or that other reason. So, I kind of like the name Department of War, but it could be that Trump announces, and you see other headlines, that it will be a huge boon to the state of Alabama, reversing Joe Biden's decision with Trump to announce Space Command headquarters at 1 o'clock our time is what some people are saying he was going to officially name Huntsville, Alabama, Rocket City, as the new headquarters for Space Command. So looking forward to that. It'd be interesting to see who might be in the Oval Office or there at the White House presentation. Maybe we'll see a couple of our senators, maybe a few representatives. That is, in fact, what is going to be announced there, that Alabama will officially get Space Command. And then, of course, Trump also putting out this truth post, this memo to the world yesterday. Some might say this is RFK Jr.'s influence. It's a long one, so I'll just read it straight up without the voice. Trump posted on Truth, quote, "It is very important that the drug companies justify the success of their various COVID drugs." Interesting. Many people think, Trump goes on to say, they are a miracle that saved millions of lives. Others disagree. With CDC being ripped apart over this question, I want the answer, and I want it now. Now's in all caps. I've been shown information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they never seem to show those results to the public. Why not? Asked the president. They go off to the next quote-unquote hunt and let everyone rip themselves apart, including Bobby Kennedy Jr. and CDC, trying to figure out the success or failure of the drug company's COVID work. They show me great numbers and results, but they don't seem to be showing them to many others. I want them to show them now to CDC and the public and clear up this mess one way or the other. I hope Operation Warp Speed was as brilliant as many say it was. If not, we all want to know about it and why. Thank you for your attention to this very important matter, President DJT. Fascinating, because Trump, you remember at the Alabama rally in Coleman, The big muddy mistake there, the big muddy mess. It was almost World War III behind the scenes. You know, when Trump was still backing Mo Brooks in that 2022 cycle. Remember how Trump was selling Operation Warp Speed to the people of Alabama, and he got booed big time? In fact, I had on the guy who wrote the book of Freedom's Forge, Arthur Herman, historian, also works at the Hudson Institute as a think tank and a military guy. And his book on Freedom's Forge and how the U.S. mobilized for World War II using private enterprise. Well, they used his book as a model for Operation Warp Speed. Now, I might say the production of airplanes and naval vessels and tanks and guns is a little different than mRNA technology. Slightly different. Might have different effects in the long run. But I would like to know. And I like that Trump is calling out Pfizer in particular, saying, y'all keep showing me great numbers, but why won't y'all show it with anybody with a critical mind, an eye, who's ready to call you out on your BS? Because you can window dress this all day long. So interesting push in that direction by the president of the United States. And it is great that Trump has surrounded himself with a guy like RFK Jr. If Bobby Kennedy convinces President Trump of the horrific damage done by so-called Operation Warp Speed, it would be miraculous. And it's the first time in like years Trump has actually sounded unsure of himself and ready to change his tune, though, again, he's done it in more subtle ways if you actually pay attention. He always knows the art of the pivot there, the art of the branding of losses into wins. Trump is very, very good at all that. It's why some of us love him so much and don't think we deserve him. So a lot going on over the weekend, from court rulings to new announcements that will affect the very state of Alabama. Also, you have the Treasury Secretary saying we may declare another emergency, a national housing emergency in the fall. Oh, happy day. Congress is returning this week, and a shutdown already looms. So will we have shutdown politics again? You also have Thomas Massie beginning the process today of getting signatures together to pass legislation that would be binding to release all Epstein files. Issues died down, but it hasn't gone away. You got to wonder how bipartisan will that push in the Congress actually be. Also saw over the weekend that Rudy Giuliani hospitalized after a car crash. I believe President Trump has now issued the process to give him the Medal of Freedom. So I'm suspecting Rudy might be in rough shape if the president's already rushing to honor him before anything worsens, or if, God forbid, he passes. But a little bit of a strange story in the sense that he had stopped, helped some other folks out, gets back in his vehicle, then he's hit right after helping folks on the side of the road after he got back in that vehicle. So who knows exactly what will happen next with Rudy Giuliani, but Trump already moving to honor him as though his days might be numbered. Hate to see that, though. Jerry Nadler is going to retire next year. Isn't that sad? No, talk about sad. Not only is alcohol consumption hit record lows in the U.S., we covered that a couple weeks ago. More and more folks picking up on it, though. Americans are in a sex recession, and it's led by mostly young folks. So I see maybe not causation, but a little bit of correlation here that if you don't drink as much, you ain't doing the deed as much. It's almost like some of y'all need to be drunk to want to hook up with the person you love. Yeah, I've been there. 55 shot in Chicago over the weekend, 7 dead. That's a great number. But, you know, the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago keep saying, we don't have a crime problem. What's the president talking about? Nobody won the Powerball last night. So Powerball jackpot swells to $1.3 billion after no winner last night. Crazy stuff. And then we have stupid stories, too, like that Polish CEO snatching that hat from a boy at the U.S. Open, like one of the tennis players trying to give his hat that he wore during the match over to a kid, and this grown man snatches over and just won't give it back to the little kid. Like, you're not a nice person, dude. Other people freaking out over how Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, does not look himself, and it's all because of a movie role. And apparently he got a 15-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival for The Smashing Machine, which is about a MMA fighter. people are already saying Oscar rumors that Dwayne Johnson just didn't make another action movie. He did a biopic that isn't formulaic like so many biopics we've seen over the years. And he did a full body transformation as to essentially portray the end of the guy's life. And yeah, it is shocking. Like, who's this skinny, gaunt man that's usually this buff dude? Well, apparently this movie is gaining a lot of critical acclaim already and early. So a lot going on, folks, a lot going on. We'll have to, at one point, the thing that was on my mind this week was a very down home Alabama issue. The Alabama High School Athletic Association all of a sudden put out in a memo. This was, by the way, the handbook was due like in the spring, but they had printer issues or whatever. So after the school year's already started, the Alabama High School Athletic Association rules that school choice students, people that use the Choose Act to transfer to a different school, they have to sit out a year from playing sports. I think it's just plain wrong, especially when the Choose Act itself, the law itself, signed by Governor Ivey, passed by the legislature, says explicitly this should not affect eligibility. And we can get into it. I wrote about it. It's up at 1819news.com if you want to go read it and check it out yourself. The AHSAA rule sidelining school choice students from playing sports is just plain wrong. That's the name of it. And that could be your main takeaway, but I get into a little how I think the Athletic Association here in Alabama is twisting the spirit of their own rules, not just ignoring the letter and spirit of state law with this school choice law that a lot of folks, thousands and thousands of families are taking advantage of. So we'll definitely get into that. But first, let's hit a break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Do you have real estate problems? Whether you're facing foreclosure, inherited a property, or have costly repairs, we understand. At Rapid Fire Homebuyers, we're here to help. Any condition, any situation, we'll give you an honest cash offer for your home so you can move forward. Because when real estate problems cause you uncertainty, you deserve a solution you can trust. Any condition, any situation, we're here to help. Give Rapid Fire Homebuyers a call today at 334-675-1000. That's 334-675-1000.
Jenny King, the king of clean, delivers reliable, high-quality commercial cleaning services through a proven franchise model that empowers local business owners. Jenny King's franchise owners receive the training, support, and resources needed to succeed, while clients benefit from tailored cleaning solutions backed by a global brand. Jenny King ensures consistent results, trust, and success for everyone we serve. Go to JennyKingCleans.com and find out how we can help you. That's JennyKingCleans.com.
Jenny King, the king of clean.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Labor Day savings are happening right now at the Home Depot. So what are you working on? Prep for fall with our wide selection of cordless power tools that make it easy to clear your lawn, starting at $79. And once the leaves are clear, keep your yard looking fresh with colorful mums that bloom all season long. Shop Labor Day savings now through September 3rd, only at the Home Depot. See select stores for details.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Boo! Guess who? That's right. This is Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage, where we make mortgages easy. If your finances are haunting you, it's time to call Alabama Home Mortgage. 567-4223. That's 567-4223. What if I told you that the money you've been looking for all this time is in your home? This is no trick. By refinancing your mortgage, you may be eligible to lower your interest rate or eliminate monthly mortgage insurance. Would you like to pay off credit card debt, make home improvements, or fund a large purchase? A mortgage refinance may be the answer. What are you waiting for? If your current mortgage payment makes you scream, then it's time to call the Alabama Home Mortgage Team. Clear the cobwebs. Call me, Kim Williams, today at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-368, Equal Housing Lender.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. You're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll-free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by McPhillips Shinbaum.
My name is Aaron Luck, a partner with the law firm of McPhillips Shinbaum. If you or someone in your family has been seriously injured by the negligence of someone else, call me directly.
262-1911. Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a fairly routine, uneventful forecast, and there's nothing wrong with that. Today, abundant sunshine, high temperature up to about 88, light winds, mostly clear, pleasantly cool tonight, low temperature down to about 64. Tomorrow, a sun and cloud mix with a high near 90, with some widely scattered random showers and storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Then back to dry weather Thursday, Friday, Saturday with highs in the lower 90s. We are not done with summertime yet. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. In the studio with me now, we have Troy Carrico. How you doing today, sir?
Happy Tuesday. How are you?
Oh, life's good. Pretty relaxed holiday weekend. I think we were talking about that a little bit off air, but pretty relaxed for you too?
Very relaxed, yeah. I went up on Sunday to the lake. My brother's got a boat up there and spent that. My mom came up from Mexico Beach, so we had a little family reunion up there. It was nice.
Is something running over there coming out of my computer or on yours? I'm hearing some echo feedback.
It's fixed.
Yeah, I did just a whole bunch of nothing. As I was telling the judge, I got to prepare a lot to do nothing. But I figure out things, and I went down an interesting rabbit hole. Did you see the interview with Tucker Carlson and Lee Strobel?
I did.
Really interesting stuff. Talking about, say, the dimension, even a lot of religious folks, like a lot of very Christian folks I know around Alabama, don't like to talk about the whole angels and demons thing.
You know how I feel about it. So.
Oh, yeah. The more I talk to people, memories I have from college, when I was a little more quick to dismiss somebody, these sorts of things. The experiences I've had firsthand that I won't bring up again, but I've written about it and folks can go find it. Certain dreams that seem more real than real. Sure. It's not like a normal dream. Certain encounters, and also the remarkable changes that can come over folks. It isn't just a matter of habits changing over time, but like true encounters with things. Good or bad. And this recent awful shooting of the Catholic school and church, up there in Minnesota, you have to think, oh, is it mental illness? Is it the gun? Is it like, no, I think what's going on here is demonic. Like,
I agree 100%.
So it was a fascinating discussion because they go all over the map. And of course, Tucker Carlson came in for a little bit of mockery, if not straight up criticism, when he detailed to a Christian broadcaster that one night it seemed like he was being attacked by something, for lack of a better word, a demon.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then he had scratch marks all over him. Well, this Lee Strobel guy gets into like how many cases and like with eyewitnesses of exorcisms and all sorts of stuff.
Sure.
At one point, though, he goes on to discuss the demonic influence of Hollywood.
Satan is a great deceiver.
Well, and also very charming, very good storyteller, like all these things.
If we're going to get into this, I'm looking forward to it because you know how I feel. We've got a lot we can talk about on this. But
well, I just want to share a little bit of this clip because it sets the tone. This is literally what I'm doing yesterday, just kind of laying there watching.
Mistakes we can make about the demonic realm. Number one is to deny that they exist. And number two, to see a demon behind every bush and think they're more powerful than they are.
Right.
They're both problems. But I think the biggest problem in our culture is to deny that there is a demonic realm, pretend like there isn't.
So what are the hallmarks of it then?
Well, I think some things you mentioned, we see manifestations of it in ways that defy natural explanations. And I think that's probably the best way of
disorder, distraction, chaos, violence.
Yeah.
And by the way, the thing he said there at the very beginning of that clip is so important and true and deserves to be underlined. It's terrible to deny that realm. It's another thing to also say every issue, every wicked little problem is because some demon's hiding behind the rock or whatever is under the bed. It's like, no, man, that's just you. Like you made that choice all by your big boy self.
Right.
So let's keep going with it.
Hate, division.
And you think if Satan were smart, which he is, would he go around the country and around the world trying to possess or bother average everyday people? Well, you know what? Much more efficient to go to Hollywood and to influence a bunch of people there who are very influential in, let's say, the entertainment industry. And let's say he encourages them to create films and television shows that are funny and that are creative and they're fun, but there's an underlying message to them that there's a normalization of immoral activity. That makes it normal because, you know, when we laugh, it opens us up to various possibilities. When we laugh, our defenses come down. So I'm thinking of a wonderful, funny TV show like Friends. Remember Friends, the TV show? It was on TV for years. Very popular show.
Only American who never saw it, but yeah.
But underlying that is a very ugly sexual ethic. That normalizes multiple sexual partners and that sort of thing. The kind of thing that Satan would love to inculcate into American culture. And you know what? I think it's much more efficient for Satan to influence movie makers and TV makers in Hollywood to create products that feed us stuff that without us even realizing it, open us up to the occult, open us up to immoral activity, normalize it in ways that, well, if Monica can do that on Friends, I can certainly have sex on the first date with this guy I meet.
Yeah. You know, the classic episode where the guy told her he hadn't had any snap in his turtle since his ex broke his heart.
Yes.
And so she slept with him. And he's like, nah, he's had plenty of snap in his turtle for years. Yeah, I know. I remember some of these episodes, but I think he's got a very good point that there are, in particular, his point about laughter. It can be like the idea, the archetype of the trickster, or in a certain case, the holy fool, that you laugh, you lighten things up in order to show people a new way that's better. Of course, laughter can also be head to another very dark realm. But one thing I would slightly push back on him on, and this is where the fine line is, especially with art. Like, if you're going to tell a really good story, shouldn't your evil characters be compelling and make sense and be somewhat tempting? And like, you don't want these weak cardboard cutouts of what evil is. So like Sauron in the Lord of the Rings is a heck of a bad guy. Like you go to Paradise Lost by Milton, like Lucifer is the charismatic, interesting character. So I think if you're going to tell a really good story, and especially one of redemption, you might have to dance and deal with the darkness a little bit. But it's one thing to dance and deal with the darkness and say that because I'm protected and I'm understanding, here's the arc of where the story is going. It's another thing, to his point, of to sort of just normalize all sorts of types of behavior slowly but surely.
So, yes. And I think you can actually go back and you can look at the blueprint for the demonic and the infernal attacks. A lot of people aren't familiar with the apocryphal text, but there's several books, the books of Enoch 1 and 2, the books of Ptolemaic Rites, the books of Tobit, all these different books that are out there. And in them, in Enoch particularly, and in the Ptolemaic Rites, it names all of the principalities, all of the ranks. This is where the Ars Goetia, this is where the infernal compendium, all these great grimoires from the Middle Ages derive their knowledge. But in there, Joey, it states specifically what each of the fallen third were responsible for. Some taught men geometry, some taught women makeup. These were all things designed to take us away from our Creator.
And then the first big bad that falls at that time of the Nephilim, this is after, I guess, Lucifer's the first to fall, before the fall of man. But then the first teaches weapons.
Yes, and warfare. And the art of warfare.
Sure. Right. No, and in a way, if you look at the parallel to like Greek mythology, that's what all these Greek gods do. And it's interesting. Yeah, like you go to all the different, like the pantheon of the polytheists, and you're like, oh, maybe there is something in biblical or beyond just the Bible, like in the Judeo-Christian tradition that helps explain some of these weird aspects of history.
You're correct. And also, even at the macro level, there are principalities and dominions of a higher rank of usually dukes or kings that have power over nations, over peoples. So America has its own demon, right? Belial, and all these different ones. So, Joey, it's as a Christian, I found it, and I've shared with you a very personal experience I had over in Iraq and Babel. And I forgot to tell you, of all places, it happened in Babel province. So at any rate, my point to you is this. I found it lacking somehow in the King James and in my book that it mentioned a scant few angels in it, right?
Right.
But there was a lot more to it behind it, I saw. And I sought that knowledge, and it fulfilled what I wanted to inquire about.
And again, what we're using essentially as a prompt here for the discussion is an interview with Tucker Carlson and a guy named Lee Strobel. And Strobel sort of specializes in like, what are the other beings that aren't human that are maybe out there?
Celestials and things of that nature.
And really, I mean, he gives a straightforward answer of demons are fallen angels. He, at the beginning, talks about how people might each have their own personal guardian angel, these sorts of things. But let's continue on with a little bit more of this clip.
The way I, as a non-theological, ignorant person, try and figure out whether something's good or bad, because it is an open question very often. It's like, is that good or bad? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Are the people doing it at peace, and joyful, happy?
Yeah.
Are they tormented?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people in Hollywood, a lot of people I like, actually, not too many happy people.
Yeah.
Some really tormented people, like, for real.
Yeah.
String of wrecked relationships, kids who hate them, trans kids, drug problems. Like, there's so much of that.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a fair way to assess?
I think because it is logical that if Satan were to try to influence a culture in a mass way, that is a logical way that he would do it. And, oh, guess what? By the way, look at all the dysfunction we see in that community. It does seem to match up.
So if evil is acting through you, you are harmed too.
Generally, I would say yes. You're going to be someone who's trying to influence others. You may not realize the full
but it
reasons
destroys
why.
you.
Yeah, it does destroy you.
It certainly seems to.
Yeah, I think so. Who would, God created us so we could have a relationship with him. So he taught us how we can live in a way that maximizes who we are. And when we stray from that in egregious ways, as many people have and do, there are implications for us.
Yeah, no kidding. Just putting that very mildly.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do. They sneak up on you. I mean, you're not the worst person in the world. You don't have the hardened heart or anything. You just kind of don't even know what you're doing until you one day wake up and go, oh, crap, I've been doing that all these years?
Yep.
Need to change my ways. I don't know. So, I did nothing, but I really sat and listened to stuff like this. Most of the day.
Did you see the pan scene where they were both sitting at the table and you could see the antler thing? Where we're going to probably shoot is, imagine if you have talking like elephant heads and everything. It's very similar to that setting, but very good.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Good morning, Crawdad.
Hey, Crawdad. How are you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Troy, you and Joey, both of you have got me very interesting in learning more and supporting the 18, 19, 18. Tell me again.
18, 19 news, yeah.
Thank you, the 19 word. Yes, thank you very much. I subscribe to getting the newsletter. You all have very good writing, and I think that when this is supporting free information news, yes, this is great. Now, as a matter, both of you gentlemen, I will get more than just reading a newsletter, but Troy, I wanted to know, I have to write down about, you have a book I want to read, and can I get a title of it so I can find your book?
I do not have a book that you I'm sorry.
I misunderstood. You'll forgive me.
No problem, but I do have I have a dissertation. I have a thesis that I can hook you up with, but it's nothing relevant to what we're talking. Maybe we got wires crossed. I'm not sure.
No, it's me. It's me.
It's usually me, Crawdad. It's usually me. Okay.
Maybe it's
if my
both.
wife were sitting here, it's usually me.
Maybe it's both of you.
We're on synchronicity so much of. Particularly on the medical field, the physiological, the psychological, and the spiritual. You guys, when you said you had been over into the land of the Baghdad and you had been familiarized with several things, I can tell you from a personal level, yes, I have encountered something. I don't want to talk about it, but I understand if somebody says there's no such thing as the dark. Yes, the dark is very much there. And do you speak any Arabic or Farsi? I
speak modern standard. I'm a 2-2 in defense language, modern standard Arabic. Yes.
Got you. So if I say to you the Iblis is real, you understand.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Here's the thing, Crawdad, and I tell people, if you are a Christian, or if you subscribe to the tenets of Christianity, you know that the third that fell to this firmament. This firmament is occupied by those forces until Christ comes back to reclaim it in the name of God. And it's just that simple. And people don't, we've become so secular, Joey and Crawdad. We've become such a secular nation that we kind of just poo-poo that. No, it's not. That's a.
When my nurse is going to come in a second, but I want to say this. When I remembering the book and the story about, you know what I'm talking about, the devil and the spinning of the head, the vomiting.
Oh yeah, The Exorcist.
Yes, when they wrote that, they used the name of an actual demon.
They did.
I will not say his name, but the Lord of Flies. Is one title, but they are very much real out there. Now, I would recommend people, even if you are not one who reads the book, do look at Saul of Tarsus, who became Paul, and read, if you're going to just read academically, familiarize when Saul and Paul and wrote letters and warned one of the churches that even in the highest places is where it says, even in the highest places. Yes, it is real. I have encountered things, and I am glad that I am protected by the covenant of the Lord. But the physical attack, once you become aware and they see you seeing them, things get worse. So you have to be prepared.
Joey and Crawdad, I know this. You can rebuke them in the name of Jesus Christ, and they slither away like snakes. I know this. I've seen it at Abu Ghraib prison. Believe me. Yeah.
Well,
amen, brother.
All right, my
Both
brother.
of you.
Appreciate
Keep
the call,
doing
man.
what.
You be well.
Thank you.
Be well, brother.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. They're ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing needs. Could be a simple thing like a drippy faucet. That's no fun. Or a toilet that won't stop running. That's keeping you up at night and wasting water, wasting money. Or it could be a massive problem like a big leak inside your house or outside the home, including a gas line leak. Well, they understand time is of the essence, and they'll be able to fix that big problem with minimal discomfort to you in your home. They won't have to tear out a bunch of drywall or dig up a huge hole in your yard to actually get the job done. And, of course, they can also help you. Maybe you don't even have an issue other than you want nicer things. You want to upgrade. So maybe a tankless water heater system, or it's time for a new garbage disposal. You want to add new accessories to the kitchen or the bathroom. They can help you out there. See, I'll check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com, but I recommend just saving their number, 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Chris, guys.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I find it really strange that, first of all, Tucker Carlson, I think, is shadow banned on X. I never get his feed, but something told me last night to watch that interview. I don't know why. And I don't really listen to a lot of his stuff, but I did. And I was completely infatuated with it. I don't know if it was really strange. And now you're talking about it. And it really kind of cut to me a little bit. It was just a really interesting conversation. And then you start putting in perspective of your own life and a lot of things that go on, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the interesting things they started talking about was World War I. Did you catch that part? How they said it was not really Archduke Ferdinand, but they thought it was Satan, evil forces that caused Europe to kind of implode like that and kill each other off. And he never really got into the explanation why. But I mean, do you know what they might have been talking about?
I know the reason for the longest time Catholic masses had a prayer to the Archangel Michael was the last Pope Leo, before the turn of the 20th century, had a vision in mass saying that the 20th century would be the century of the devil and he'll have his way with the world. And and it's a very long prayer. Some folks calling to bring it back, some seeing the new Pope Leo taking that name as a bit of a nod to his predecessor there about a century ago. And so maybe that's what they're kind of getting into, because yes, you can explain World War I and World War II completely through what people did and just basic history. But you start seeing like all these decisions being made by individuals all at once going in a certain direction. And then the madness, especially World War I, losing entire towns in what, an afternoon. There's something else at play there.
Yeah, principalities and dominions over the minds of weak men that lead nations.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, the discussion, it was just, I mean, it really was. I couldn't stop listening to it. And I was trying to get in. I was halfway through, and now they're going to talk about drugs and hallucinations. But they're also talking about, and I didn't get that part, but they're also talking about how people in the Middle East are starting to see visions at night.
Yeah.
I mean, visions in their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And there's things in the magazines and newspapers say, if you've seen the man in white, call us. And they're having like this reformation where a lot of Muslims have come to find Jesus Christ.
Amen, brother.
And it's not people telling them about it, it's they're seeing it in dreams. I mean, it's just really, I mean, it kind of makes you, I don't know, it gives you that feeling in your chest like there is so much more to this world than we think.
Amen, brother.
Than which we see visually out there, you know?
Well, and
there is so much evil out there too.
Well, and I'm glad you had that urge, that pull to actually watch this. And I encourage everybody else. Again, it's Lee Strobel with Tucker Carlson. But I lately have also just been interested in the Apocrypha. And like, if you are wondering, like Wes Huff, who's a good Christian apologist online, does a pretty good job of explaining why, say, Enoch 1 was not put in the original canon. So there's a lot of great resources out there, and it makes a lot of sense why certain texts were not included in the canon. But it's still interesting, part of the larger tradition of that moment. And it's fascinating. And yes, I think it does touch on something that normally for a lot of my life, and I think a lot of people, just life's so comfortable, like why even entertain this stuff? Or you can put a different name on it, a certain pathology. It's a mental health problem, or it's a disease or an addiction, or yada, yada, yada. But sometimes you find yourself using language you never thought you would, and that the language of the spiritual realm is the only thing that really suffices.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because in my opinion, the books of Enoch 1 and 2 and the books of Jubilee are probably like algebra 2 or algebra 3 for basic Christianity, and algebra 1. But you really want to know, because if you're maturing, fellows, if you're maturing in your Christianity like you're supposed to be, then you really should be exploring these other aspects of everything. But, you know, I guess it all comes down to what's in red in the New Testament for me.
So, well, I got to run, Chris. Appreciate the call, man.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, anytime.
Second hour, not final hour just yet. Second hour coming up right after this. We should have the major announcement. Is Alabama getting Space Force? Stay tuned. We'll bring that to you live.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Earlier this summer, President Trump sent troops to the Los Angeles area amid immigration operations and protests. California sued, arguing the troops were violating a law that prohibits military enforcement of domestic laws. A federal judge ruled in favor of the state, but did not require the remaining troops to be immediately withdrawn. President Trump's administration will announce U.S. Space Command will be located in Alabama, reversing a Biden-era decision to keep it at its temporary headquarters in Colorado. In consumer news, McDonald's cutting prices on some combo meals to woo back customers who've been turned off by the rising cost of grabbing a fast food meal. Starting September 8th, McDonald's will offer extra value meals. On Wall Street, the Dow dropping 403 points, the Nasdaq losing 249. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141.
Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a fairly routine, uneventful forecast, and there's nothing wrong with that. Today, abundant sunshine, high temperature up to about 88, light winds, mostly clear, pleasantly cool tonight, low temperature down to about 64. Tomorrow, a sun and cloud mix with a high near 90, with some widely scattered random showers and storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Then back to dry weather Thursday, Friday, Saturday with highs in the lower 90s. We are not done with summertime yet. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Montgomery police are investigating a fatal weekend shooting. MPD confirmed on Monday the shooting happened just after 2 a.m. Saturday in the 3500 block of Carter Hill Road, where an unidentified person was found shot and killed. The victim's name and age have not yet been released. No additional information was made available. A 12-year-old was hospitalized Sunday afternoon after being injured in a Sea-Doo accident on Lake Martin. The child was towing another 12-year-old on a kneeboard in Little Kalijah Creek when the Sea-Doo struck the causeway, throwing the 12-year-old driver onto the road. The child was airlifted to an area hospital for treatment. Condition remains unknown. Montgomery police are investigating an early Monday morning car accident and shooting. Paramedics responded to a vehicle accident in the area of April Street and Bowman Street just before 2 a.m., where a juvenile male had life-threatening injuries from a gunshot wound. No further details were released regarding how the incident happened or the victim's condition. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
This is Alice with Independent Glass. We advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting and we get great results. If you want results like we get, you need to go with Blue Water.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store. When your feet aren't properly supported, it can affect your whole body, your back, your ankles. You might be thinking there's no way something as simple as Good Feet arch supports can help me. Well, that's exactly what Bill thought.
My feet would just ache, my back would hurt, my ankles, everything just hurt. And I'd seen the commercial several times before I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
Visit the Good Feet Store for a free fitting and test walk. If you want to live free from pain, come visit the Good Feet Store and take the first step towards a more comfortable, healthier you. Wendy's experience might inspire you too.
Since wearing my arch supports from the Good Feet Store, my back pain is gone and my feet don't hurt as much. And as I look into the future without pain, I see myself being even more adventurous, joyful, and full of possibility.
Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico in the studio with me. And we're still awaiting the Oval Office announcement. Lots suspecting Trump is going to announce the official move of Space Command headquarters to Rocket City, to Huntsville, Alabama.
It's a natural nesting point for it.
And just to remind folks, you said it's a natural resting point. There was review after review after review, and from all different angles by the Pentagon, folks, of what's the best spot. And Huntsville always came out on top.
It did. And, oddly enough, it was always just put in a holding pattern, if you will, over in Colorado. But the biggest competition we had was Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, which was former home of Strategic Air Command. But when it comes to space and to missile to rocket, there's so much up there. I mean, it's the Army MISIC. You got Missile Intelligence Security Command. There's a lot up there. So, I'm hoping that's going to be the case.
Well, especially as, without giving much away, you're going to see more and more, not necessarily the weaponization of space, if that hadn't already happened, but more the what you can do, your capabilities, your capacity and your abilities in space will be tied into everything else your, say, military can do.
Well, I think that you're right. And Joey, I think it doesn't take a weatherman to tell you which direction the wind's blowing on this.
Right.
If you look at the concept right now for fighting in the air is BVR, beyond visual range, which means way off, hypersonic missiles off and all that, and engaging way beyond normal range. The next natural step for that is beyond visual range in our atmosphere and beyond. You remember I can't remember, I think it might have been a Battlestar Galactica, which is dating me, but the idea of attacking from the air, both geosynchronous objects in the air, but also ground strikes from the air. So I think that's where we're headed in terms of to warfare, future warfare.
Yeah, and so Alabama going to be playing. We've primed ourselves over the years,
Yes.
all that investment over the years. It really is a major part of the central nervous system of the federal government and the national security state of the federal government. So not surprised to see that being announced, but maybe they're doing a head fake. What do you think about changing the DOD back to the DOW, the Department of War?
I think that when we were at war, I'm okay with War Department. That's what we used to refer to it during the war, right? It's a news clip from the War Department, they would call it. I'm okay with that. A name is a name. I mean, Ministry of War, Ministry of Defense, whatever you want to call it, Department of War, Department of Defense. How about Department of Ass-Kicking Violence?
I think Trump and Hegseth would be all right with that.
They're okay with that, I think.
I think they'd be just fine with all that. While we're waiting on that announcement, I'm going to try to bring that to you live. I wrote about something in very local. Now, honestly, I'm just kind of looking on the outside looking in. Like I don't have kids playing in sports in Alabama at high school level at all. But when I saw what the Alabama High School Athletic Association did recently, I had to write about it. Wrong must not win by technicalities. Aeschylus. Actually, I think Athena says that in the play. It's kind of the origin story of how you got a jury trial and a judicial system based off not just punishment, but also mercy in Athens. But wrong must not win by technicalities. The sore losers in traditional public education who continue to resist school choice are just plain wrong. Yet being wrong and sore losers, these recalcitrants continue to try to win by technicalities, twisting the spirit of their own internal rules and regulations to undermine the letter of state law, while discouraging parents from making a better choice for their kids' education. The latest in this vein is the Alabama High School Athletic Association's recent rules interpretation that students who transferred schools using the financial support offered by the state school choice program, the CHOOSE Act, are ineligible to play in Alabama high school athletics for a year. As reported by originally the Trussville Tribune, saying, quote, the decision outlined in a memo sent this week by AHSAA Executive Director Heath M. Harmon applies under Rule 6, Section 7 of the 2025-2026 AHSAA Handbook, which states that students who transfer and receive financial aid or financial assistance are ineligible for 1 year. The rule also specifies that aid includes Alabama scholarship funds, tuition remission, school choice program funds, and other assistance. That's right. Parents who use the state of Alabama's new school choice program to transfer their child for a better education are now seeing their child sidelined by AHSAA under the guise of violating the association's anti-recruitment bylaws. Rule 6, Section 7 of that handbook is ostensibly designed to prevent unfair recruitment practices by prohibiting schools from offering or providing financial benefits as incentives to attend for athletic purposes. The intent of the bylaw seems to be to maintain competitive balance and ensure that athletics doesn't overshadow educational priorities because of, say, financial enticements. Fair enough. Seems like a good rule.
It's a good rule.
However, according to the association's latest interpretation of this rule, if a parent chooses to accept state funding from Alabama to transfer their child to a better academic setting, then the athletic association here in the state essentially suspects that parent of prioritizing athletics over academics. Yet, is it not the AHSAA like that's placing athletics over academics by such a tortured application of its own bylaws?
Seems like it.
Is not the Alabama Athletic Association abusing its power to regulate athletic concerns in Alabama schools to disincentivize parents from using the Choose Act? Isn't this a violation of state law? At your request, I have reviewed Rule 6, Section 7 of the Alabama High School Athletic Association for the 2025 to 2026 school year, which disqualifies for 1 year a student who transfers to a member school and receives financial aid or financial assistance, writes Othni Latham, Legislative Services Agency Director, in a memo requested by State Senator Chris Elliott. Latham goes on and says the legislative intent that the availability of these educational options not be foreclosed based on athletic considerations could not have been more clear. Latham continues saying this law explicitly states that nothing in the Choose Act shall affect or change the athletic eligibility of student athletes governed by the Alabama High School Athletic Association. In other words, a student's eligibility to participate in school sports as governed by the ASHAA shall not be affected or changed for a student who transfers schools in accordance with the provisions of the Choose Act. The intent is clear. A student's eligibility to participate in school sports shall not be impacted by a transfer via the Choose Act. Yet, despite the letter and intent of state law, the Alabama High School Athletic Association has chosen to effectively brand any transfer under the Choose Act on its face as potentially sullying amateur high school athletics by running afoul of anti-recruitment rules. Somehow, financial aid plus transfer always means a transfer is suspect and non-bona fide to the AHSAA, even if the aid in question comes directly from the state by law for explicitly academic reasons. Under the Alabama High School Athletic Association's interpretation of their bylaws, parents of talented student athletes must now take into consideration the rule about athletic eligibility before making a decision about their child's academic future. Parents shouldn't be forced to take the self-licking interpretations of an unelected private agency's bylaws into consideration when it comes to their child's education, especially when the self-licking seems so contrary to the prerogatives of Alabama's elected government, as well as the original intent of the Alabama High School Association's own rules against recruitment. Athletic eligibility shouldn't be abused to discourage parents from taking advantage of school choice on behalf of their children's academic future. The sore losers in traditional public education, who have long been wrong, must not win by technicalities. Yeah, as I was looking into this, I'm like, this is just bonkers.
You know, it's one of those, as you're reading it and I'm listening to your inflection and all the things, don't you wish just common sense would prevail in some situations?
And by the way, they were late. Like the handbook was supposed to be out and clear by the spring. I think they said they had printer issues or something.
Sure. Yeah. You know,
all of a sudden this memo sent out like as the school year's already begun.
That's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, and you got thousands of people taking advantage of this. Well, and okay, for instance, they have other rules under Rule 6. They don't have just Section 7.
Okay,
they have like Section 12. So, for instance, if Montgomery Catholic, like a private school I went to. If Montgomery Catholic is out there saying, hey, come play for our football team and we'll teach you how to take these ESA funds, and like that's in writing, you can prove that they were doing that. That's wrong.
That's a violation.
It's a violation. Yeah. But to do it on its face without investigation, that because you transferred and you took money from the state, which, by the way, the kids that go to the schools they're zoned for taking money from the state.
Sure, that's the same thing. Yeah.
Right. They are immediately treated as non-bona fide.
Interesting, because we live down at Hooper Academy, where our son went and all that, and it's watching the, how can I say this, coming from where I grew up in Ohio, we had great public education at the time, and I look at the struggles that are very real for your independent schools and your private schools, and it's just to add another layer of complexity or stupidity from the government, which is giving the funds, is really problematic.
Well, and on this one, it was a rare moment of agreement with me and Governor Ivey. She was pissed about this.
Well,
State Senator Chris Elliott, very pissed about this, telling athletic directors to ignore the Alabama High School Athletic Association. And it'll be interesting to see that they have to go back and redo the legislation in this upcoming session, or can they get some sort of ruling beforehand? Technically, the Alabama High School Athletic Association is a voluntary, nonprofit, private agency.
Really?
Yeah. So it's essentially an association made up of all the member schools.
So then the
private and public and everybody involved in
then
athletics.
the question of, okay, they've ruled on it, now let them enforce it, kind of thing, kind of
Right.
comes to mind.
And if you get back into like I did a little bit of the legal history as I was writing this up. They do have some leg to stand on saying that we are allowed as a private group to make our own rules.
Okay.
I just think this interpretation of their rule they've had for a while, this new interpretation, not only runs afoul of state law, it's a twisting of their own point of having the rule in the first place.
So the question is this, Joey: these students that are affected by this memo, are they setting out now for the school year? Or some of them probably are, some aren't, depending on what academy it is.
I
You
don't
just
know.
got to wonder how the piecemeal application of this is right now.
Yeah, and why did it come out so late?
Yeah, that's jacked.
Yeah, it really is.
Maybe they need to go independent and leave that association, some of the schools.
Yeah. Well, you see folks do that, but it's kind of a shame that like people want a better academic setting for their kids.
Sure.
And the idea of your athletic eligibility now being on the chopping block, because it could be both. It could be like this kid's really talented, doesn't need to miss a year.
Right.
Really loves playing football or basketball
Good
or whatever.
student and all that. Yeah.
And we'd like them to have an even better opportunity academically. Why should the athletic stuff even come into the consideration?
I can't agree with you.
And again, if this was some nonprofit giving a scholarship, if this is a school themselves
Sure.
giving
That's
tuition
different.
remission and
That's
stuff,
different,
it's very different. This is money coming directly from the state of Alabama. Same way as anybody else that goes to public education.
Taxpayer dollars.
So what a mess. What an absolute mess. We'll see if it gets cleared up before too long. It's only been really running as a story for the last, 3-4 days. So we'll see if it gets cleared
written.
up.
Very well written.
Anytime soon. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. It's 334-272-9228. Still waiting on the Oval Office announcement from Trump and team. We shall see. But as we're waiting on the White House, especially tying into our conversation in the end of the first hour, the White House put out this video, which some are finding refreshing that this is coming from, again, the White House. Let's listen in together.
Lessons I've learned from a lifetime spent building dreams. First,
Screen said 11 lessons.
if you think that you're too young to do something great, let me tell you that you are wrong. You're not too young. In America, with drive and ambition, young people can do anything. Second of all, and very importantly, you have to love what you do. I rarely see somebody that's successful that doesn't love what he or she does. Third thing is to think big. You know, you're going to do something, you might as well think big, because it's just as hard to solve a small problem as a big problem, and it's just as much energy and everything else, except the result is going to be a smaller one. So love what you do, but think big. Fourth is work hard. Work hard. Fifth is don't lose your momentum. You just want to keep it going, and you have to know if you are losing it, you have to know when you're losing it. So maybe you stop, and maybe it's time to stop. Number 6, if you want to change the world, you have to have the courage to be an outsider. In other words, you have to take certain risks and do things a little bit differently. Otherwise, if that weren't the case, everybody would be successful. Number 7 is to trust your instincts, common sense. You can go very far in life with common sense. 8th, everybody should believe in the American dream. It's real, it's there, and it's right before you. 9th, think of yourself as a winner. The power of positive thinking. In recent years, too many of our young people have really been taught to think of themselves as victims. But in America, we reject that idea that anyone is born a victim. Our heroes are the ones who take charge of their own destiny despite the odds. And next is to be an original. The old-time greats were people who had the confidence to be a little different. God only created one of you, so don't try to be someone else. Finally, and most importantly, never, ever give up. I've learned that perseverance is everything, so whatever happens, no matter where you are in life, stay optimistic and just keep pushing forward. Never let anyone tell you that something is impossible, ever, ever, ever. In America, the impossible is what we all do best.
I like number 10 there. Be original. God only made one of you. Be uniquely who you are.
Very JFK-ish.
Yeah, no, in this new White House, they definitely have a media strategy.
They do.
A bit different than what has been presented for many years now. Seeing more and more folks try to pick up on this, but it's hard to recreate the magic.
Well,
the Trump team's making.
You know, it's funny. I think it was lesson 4. Think big. You remember what Ronald Reagan said? America's too great for small dreams.
Hear, hear. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team, ready to help you out whether you're looking to buy or sell a home here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for over 50 years now. And so not only can they help you with buying and selling property here in the River Region real estate market, they can help you if you're looking to rent out your home. Great idea. They have management services available should you want to rent out your home. And then the Goodson Group is what's crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed and accredited real estate programs in the state of Alabama. Bo's 50 plus years of experience really comes into play there. It's a very interactive course. And of course, you can hit the ground running as a more successful private player in the real estate market. Or if you're looking to be a licensed real estate agent, they can help you there at the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. So you'll check them out today. You can always learn more at thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of the program. Again, as we're in a holding pattern for the president, I'm going to move on to something a little different, and it has to do with real estate. I'm sorry Eddie isn't here for this one. But this is a story of a woman in Pennsylvania who bought a house. And then she figured out that they missed something during inspection. And what do you think? Like, was there a big leak in the water heater, or there was rot in certain parts of the attic, or there was actually termite infestation, or what was it, man?
They didn't like the flooring.
Yeah. Let's listen into this story together.
And I don't want it, but it's mine. I own it, which is horrific.
After months of searching, Lynn Ray Wentworth and her husband were thrilled to find what they thought was their dream home.
We loved the historical nature of it and the fact that there's opportunity to update it and still keep that flair.
During the home inspections and walkthrough, they say everything seemed to be okay, and they ended up buying it in 2023. But months after moving in, Lynn Ray says she was in the basement with her nephew, working to clean up a few things left behind by the seller, and it wasn't until they removed a large rug and table that they found a very large problem.
I came down and I was like, there's something tiled into the floor here, and you take a step over here and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a swastika.
Nearly 6 feet in diameter, a swastika and what appears to be a German war eagle were discovered permanently tiled into the floor.
Oh, crap.
That's pretty good craftsmanship there.
No, and especially that shot, that's definitely an eagle.
It is.
Honey.
It's in the basement of all places.
Look at what's on the basement floor.
That's great.
She's now suing the seller, apparently. Wow. She claims the symbol was purposely hidden during the inspection. Yeah, it might have been.
You might want to go back to your home inspector who did the inspection before the purchase and said, hey, why didn't you pick that up?
I do wonder how much she's suing for, because what, to retile that is not that much money. Yeah, maybe you can sue to have the seller get it resurfaced.
Probably.
Here, let's keep going with this a little bit.
I was just shocked, mortified.
The Wentworths hired attorney Daniel Stoner, who filed a lawsuit arguing the symbols were a material defect in the home that the seller failed to disclose.
We believe this is something that should have been disclosed to them from the start, and they should have been given the option as to whether or not this is something they would want to be in their home.
Stoner says the seller apparently installed the symbols in the floor himself back in the 70s and argued the swastika symbol was a popular design on greeting cards.
What? It was a popular design on greeting cards?
For the Aryan nation.
What is he talking about? In the 70s? Really?
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe he's just a big Hogan's Heroes fan. I don't know.
Soft drinks and sports uniforms back in the 1920s.
The explanation that they gave basically is that the swastika is an ancient symbol that means many different things in many different cultures, and in most cultures it's a positive thing.
In court paperwork, the seller's attorney also argues the Wentworths had full access to the home prior to buying and could have moved the table and rug at any time to discover what was underneath.
They're claiming basically that this is just a cosmetic feature of the house. It doesn't constitute a defect, and therefore they didn't have to disclose that to them.
I mean, they should have disclosed it, but also as a fundamental defect of the home, no, because you can easily just remove it.
I think it's the War Eagle that kind of gave it away too.
Yeah.
And then you add to that, the seller is answering from Argentina.
Goodness gracious. Yeah. Oh, wow. I forgot.
He moved to Argentina.
I didn't notice that explanation.
I'm joking.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You think you got problems?
It's about 6 feet in diameter.
That's a big eagle.
Yeah.
Big Nazi, swastika. But did you notice there was a rug and table over it? His wife's like, you need to cover that up before we sell this house because there's somebody going to buy that. He listened to her.
Oh, man. I don't know about that lawsuit. And I wish, again, Eddie was here. I'd imagine he hadn't seen something like this, but he's seen similar things. My God, that's that excuse, though, is the lamest.
It's an ancient symbol. It was on greeting cards in the 70s. Yeah. And did you hear what he said? Sports uniforms and commercials in the 20s.
In the 20s, yeah. Right. Yeah. No, I'm just doing the Bellamy salute.
That's right.
The original way.
Charles Lindbergh agreed with it.
Right. Exactly. Great man. He knew how to fly a plane.
Yeah. Picked the wrong side.
Right. It's like, Charles, why are you getting an award from the Luftwaffe?
Lindbergh.
Mm-hmm.
Lindbergh.
Yeah.
Lindbergh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know what he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's due diligence, guys. Due diligence. How do you
always
miss
be
that?
Closing? Always be closing.
Anyway, 272-9228. How about this? Let's hit a quick break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Want that ride that is fun, affordable, and street legal? Check out ETG Outdoors in Montgomery. They have huge discounts on electric golf carts with many brand new units under 10 grand. New and used inventory, financing available, and they service what they sell. ETG Outdoors even provides lithium battery conversions and free delivery with purchase. Whether it's for the neighborhood, the farm, or just fun, ETG Outdoors, 7006 Vaughn Road, or online at etgoutdoors.com. Cruise smarter, drive electric. ETG Outdoors, your ride to freedom starts here.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians. But we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. You're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. an equal housing lender.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a fairly routine, uneventful forecast, and there's nothing wrong with that. Today, abundant sunshine, high temperature up to about 88, light winds, mostly clear, pleasantly cool tonight, low temperature down to about 64. Tomorrow, a sun and cloud mix with a high near 90, with some widely scattered random showers and storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Then back to dry weather Thursday, Friday, Saturday with highs in the lower 90s. We are not done with summertime yet. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me.
Good afternoon.
And did you see that Powerball's jackpot swells to $1.3 billion after no one won on Monday night's drawing?
I did. Too bad you can't play it here in Alabama.
Yeah, the prize would have been $1.1 billion. Winning numbers drawn were 8, 23, 25, 40, 53, and 5. And nobody had it. With no player holding the winning ticket on Monday, the jackpot is now $1.3 billion.
Man.
The next drawing is Wednesday night. If a lucky ticket holder beats the 1 in 292 million odds, the winner can opt for a one-time lump sum payment of $589 million before taxes, or receive annuity payments of over $5 million annually for over 30 years. Which one you taking?
Well, give me my choices again. A lump sum of
$589 million before taxes. So
out of a $1.3 billion jackpot. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good trade, does it? What's
like,
the other one?
and what, they'll take half.
Yeah.
So you're a little over 200 mil now.
Yeah. What's
the other option is annuity payments of $5 million annually for 30 years.
No, those are both really terrible options out of a $1.3 billion jackpot. I'd go with the first because I don't know if I'm going to make it till tomorrow. So
right. Yeah, and 200 million's not
nothing.
No joke.
I bet I could burn through it.
But Lady Luck has not been kind to Powerball players this year, with the last jackpot being won on May the 31st.
Monday's drawing saw two $2 million winners and 10 $1 million winners, including 2 in New Jersey and 1 in New York.
I was going to say that's probably, I bet if you did the statistical significance of that, there's a density of people that play.
Well, and today would be the day to see how many folks are crossing into Alabama state lines over into Georgia in particular,
Florida, down to Florida too,
or Mississippi or wherever it is. Yeah, and snatching up these tickets. And I do wonder if you technically live in Alabama and you've got the winning ticket, what happens?
That's what I was getting ready to say. I say nothing, because according to where you bought it at, it's not against the law, and you didn't buy it here in Alabama, and it's not Alabama funded. That's an external organization.
I have to say, if I won this thing, I'd be so boring with it. I would let's
cryptos, Bitcoin.
Yeah, let's say after taxes, everything. Let's call it an even 200 million.
Yeah.
I'm willing to put 190 million of that just into investments and different vehicles. Maybe start a little scholarship fund, but also, you can have fun with $10 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 10 million. Yeah, you can. I would look.
And I wouldn't buy an expensive house. I'd get just a normal house for me.
Yeah. I'd invest in gold. I'd invest in a lot of Bitcoin, and then I would buy a surplus Russian jet fighter, probably like a MiG-20 or something.
Just for fun. Sake.
Just for fun.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Joel.
Hey, Joel.
Hey, Joel.
Hey, I was over in Atlanta Sunday, so I took 5 chances. I didn't hit first. I'm on any of them.
Dang, didn't what? Not a single one, huh?
You would think out of 30 numbers I got that I would at least have hit a number on that.
You would think so.
What would you have spent the money on, Joel?
On myself. No, I probably would have given some to the church.
Yes.
And probably took back $1 million of it over to a fellow that sold me the ticket. I think folks always promise them, if I win, I'll be back to pay you some money, and I bet you they never get no money.
Right. Yeah, nobody ever falls through, not in that way. But I don't know. People that tend to win these things are a little cursed. That's a lot of money.
Seems that way. Yeah.
Well, years ago, when like $5 million was a lot, woman won it. They asked us, said, "What are you going to do with your winnings?" Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get the transmission fixed on my car. And I'm thinking, I won $5 million. You can have the car. I'm going to get a new one.
I'm about to say, like that gum. Well, you gonna make the trek over again, Joel?
Hey, it was for business. I got to go back on the 8th.
Okay.
So I'll buy another one on the 8th.
There you go.
Well,
Want me to get you one, Joey?
Maybe if it's still going by then. I guess they got another drawing coming up. We'll see.
Yeah, I think they get 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah, next drawing is Wednesday night. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
We'll
Dave is on a Monday, so I'll call you before Monday and see if you want in on some of it.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, Joel.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
John.
Hey, John. What's up?
Hey, I just want to talk real quick about Elmore County and their proposed taxes.
Sure.
They're having all the football fields redone and baseball fields to AstroTurf for $5 million for Holtville, $5 million for Eclectic, $8 million for the sports complex in Wetumpka that's not even 5 years old. They're redoing the baseball fields.
Man.
$35 million for the 17 Springs. And anyway, what they're saying now, they don't have the money to pay for this, but yet they have contracted, and some of these have already been completed.
Wow.
And so what they want to do, thank God we get to vote on it. We need to get the word out for Elmore County voters, because they're going to raise our property taxes from $25 to $300 a year with no cap. Every year it'll go up, whatever they decide, $25 to $300.
At gum. And so this will be on essentially the ballot next year?
This year, sir, November 4th.
November 4th this year.
That's
Okay.
a big deal.
So it's just rotten. I don't know how they can contract with these companies to do this work and then say, oh, we don't have the money to pay for it.
Yeah, and that's what's the way they always get you. We got to go spend money on all these nice things, and it'll be this amount, a chunk of change. Oh, wait, we need more, and let's have your taxes raised into perpetuity.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're going to continue to talk about it if that's on the ballot locally in November. So I appreciate you raising it, though.
Well, and I appreciate you, Joey. I know that you're always pretty up to date on all the local goings on, and it's very important, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, John.
Speaking of local going-ons, I feel compelled to talk about this. I've been working with a group of people on this, and I think we want to have them on briefly maybe next week. The city of Montgomery is making a move to incorporate Hope Hall, a lot of parts of Hope Hall where I live at down that way. It all has to do with the industrial makings that are coming there, and it's encroaching out now 31 down towards where I live, but not quite to where I'm at. But David Honeycutt, a former neighbor and a good friend of our family, is working on that, and I'm going to try to get him on. But it's a big deal, and what we're seeking to do is to turn the table and incorporate Hope Hall as a municipality, sort of like what Pike Road did. To try to fend off the encroachments of the police jurisdiction and all that. So that's another thing going on locally we want to keep an eye on down in Hope Hall.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hi, it's Mizu Knoll.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Your previous caller showed a profound misunderstanding of what the enhanced Elmore is all about.
Okay.
Number one, all those sports things that he was complaining about and the money, that money comes from a specific leverage tax on the hotel that they can't spend any other way. The enhanced Elmore is all about public safety and the fire people. And, we've got to build a new jail and judicial center. And, we need to raise the money and make it happen, or the federal courts one of these days are going to tell us that you got to do it. And that means there goes your county budget. You'll get no roads, no public safety, no nothing until the jail gets built. So, this is one of the least good things. And if you paid attention and talk to the county commissioners or listen to the county commissioners, because they've been making the round, you'd understand it.
So this thing being proposed to be voted on November 4th, is it like a one-time flat fee, or is it a raised property tax in general?
It's a specific fee. Now, he's correct that the fee will go up, but it goes up $1 a year, is my understanding.
And this is not for all the, I'm just giving back to you what you told me. It's not for all the sports complexes and other stuff. This is in particular for public safety. It
is specific to, the law enforcement and the volunteer fire department.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, and I'm actually grokking it now. This is I don't live in Elmore County, so this is the first time it's being brought to my attention, and it's called Enhance Elmore, as you said?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I'll continue. I think I've got a nice breakdown on it, and others who live in the area, we have plenty of room and time to debate this heading into November, which is what we should do.
I believe you can find out all about it online. I recommend everybody go look it up.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey. This is Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, I wanted to make a couple of comments. First, as I was hearing about all the millions of dollars earmarked for improvements to athletic fields, the thought occurred to me, I wonder how much, if any, is in consideration for making schools safer, one of the things that came up about the shooting in Minneapolis was that Catholic school, I think, had requested more money for better security, but for whatever reason, it never happened. That's just one thought. I don't know if any of the schools consider that or try to improve their security to avoid similar scenarios.
Yeah, I think that's going to. I think that one of the things that's going to be coming out now that this has been brought up is we're going to hear a lot more about it, and we're going to do some research and invite people to debate on that in the coming days. So, without knowing anything off the top of the this is new to both of us. We're going to look into it because it seems like it's generated a lot of interest between the callers. So,
well, yeah, and I've got a breakdown here, but I appreciate the call. We've also got the president speaking live, affecting our state. Appreciate it, man. Let's go to this live. Yeah, there's Senator Britt, who we saw last week. Yep. There's Coach Tuberville. Yep. There's Gary Palmer, Congressman Palmer. Yep. Dale Strong. Is that Mike Rogers? Is that Robert Adderhold? Is that Barry Moore with his new haircut?
It is.
All right. So let's listen into this. Was happening just moments ago. We're a little behind live. He said, "Oh, come on and work. You never know with technology."
I think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular. So congratulations,
awesome,
Katie. Congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs, and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions because it can't be millions. It's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force, Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, Troy. Yeah, this is such a big deal.
Great job you're doing, Troy.
Everybody wanted to know, what are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Your grandmother, her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loves you, Mr.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
Wonderful woman.
She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach. And I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend, but you're not used to that.
Let's leave that up.
You're not used to that. But Tommy,
Auburn won, says
so you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, as you know, and a fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Doing great, Mike. Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force. So important. You know, we were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away number one in space, and reestablish Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Spacecom will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else. There's nobody close. Remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished SpaceCom to ensure that priority was put in place. And you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DoD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments. And where did they say SpaceCom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens.
Again, this is happening live out of the Oval Office. Senator Katie Britt stepping up to the microphone there.
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our war fighter is put first, and we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tommy, please.
Coach Tuberville stepping up to the mic.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama. We need help in our military. We need to catch up. And as Secretary has said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this. And we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief.
The
here.
Vice President.
I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama. But as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force. And I think an equally visionary move to make sure that Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept.
Dale Strong.
You think about it. Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Let me just say, Mr. President,
Robert Adderholt.
I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go. And like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama. We're very grateful. Thank you and God bless. Thank you.
Gary Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously,
Barry
national
Moore.
defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was #1. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But, Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama. And we're grateful for that. Thank you.
And Mike Rogers.
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the president held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command. If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs. That's Huntsville, Alabama.
Thank you very much. So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now. You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. And our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it. We didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Senator Somerville talked about the cost savings
Yeah.
associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
All right. Well, I got to hit my break. Went a little long there, but great seeing our delegation, most of them up there. And it is a little surreal. I've had Gary Palmer in the studio. We had Katie sitting right across from us last week. Seeing Barry Moore, saw him when he was first running, seeing all of them. And don't forget Coach, of course. They're in the Oval Office. Which, what do you make of the new gold?
The gold dome?
Yeah,
it's just it's a replica of Iron Dome.
I mean all the gold fixings in the Oval Office.
No, it looks like we're in St. Petersburg or St. Kiev or something. You know,
it does.
It does. But I got an idea. Let's get Lieutenant General Quast on the show maybe next week, because he's the father of Space Force,
Sure.
and he can talk about the impact of it being here in
Yeah,
Alabama.
better than just some random reporter asking.
This
Like,
guy-
we can
this
actually
guy-
get into the
this guy
strategic
knows.
vision.
This guy knows, yeah.
Well, we got to hit this top hour break. First, this entire second hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage, and they are there to help you buy a home or refinance that current home of yours. A lot of reasons to refinance. Could be credit card debt, could be other sorts of debt, like a second mortgage you maybe
Yeah,
took out,
absolutely.
or an equity line of credit, as they call it, or whatever. Or it could be you want
arm.
to, yeah,
We don't want the arm.
you could reinvest in your property, in yourself, maybe helping the kids set up in different cities, they graduate college. I mean, maybe it's this big like vacation you always want to take the family on. Whatever the goal, they can help you there at Alabama Home Mortgage. I got a message from Madeline earlier saying there is a outage, a whole what did she say? AT&T outage in their area. So their
Okay.
phones and internet are not working right now at Alabama Home Mortgage. So if you try them at this moment, you can't get through. It's because AT&T, blame them and their major outage.
Darn
But
network.
go ahead and save that number for Alabama Home Mortgage. That's 567-4223. Again, that's 567-4223, or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Trump's administration has started requiring parents seeking to reunite with their children who crossed into the U.S. alone to attend interviews with immigration officers. The Office of Refugee Resettlement says the directive is aimed at ensuring sponsors are properly vetted. Artificial intelligence chatbot makers OpenAI and Meta say they're adjusting how their chatbots respond to teenagers and other users asking questions about suicide or showing signs of mental and emotional distress. Tropical storm Lorena forming in the Pacific off Mexico's coast. Tropical storm watches could be issued later today for portions of the Baja California Peninsula. Lorena currently about 240 miles west of Manzanillo, Mexico. Stocks are sharply lower, the Dow over 14 points lower. This is SRN News.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, everything you need and nothing
This
you
hour
don't.
of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by McPhillip Shinbaum.
My name is Aaron Luck, a partner with the law firm of McPhillip Shinbaum. If you or someone in your family has been seriously injured by the negligence of someone else, call me directly.
262-1911. Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a fairly routine, uneventful forecast, and there's nothing wrong with that. Today, abundant sunshine, high temperature up to about 88, light winds, mostly clear, pleasantly cool tonight, low temperature down to about 64. Tomorrow, a sun and cloud mix with a high near 90, with some widely scattered random showers and storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Then back to dry weather Thursday, Friday, Saturday with highs in the lower 90s. We are not done with summertime yet. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
The group known as Clean Up Alabama is encouraging Alabamians throughout the state to offer input to the Alabama Public Library Service when it comes to sexually explicit books within the children's sections of public libraries. The APLS has created a platform by which the public can offer these comments or input. Clean Up Alabama founder Hannah Reese says that a 45-day comment period has gotten underway as of this past Monday. Reese says that the APLS has given guidelines regarding sexually explicit books and other inappropriate books. However, she says the vague term inappropriate has been taken advantage of by some public libraries here in the state in order to not remove certain books regarding transgenderism, transgender procedures, and sexual orientation. Reese says that the APLS needs to hear from the public about these books. She also reminds the public that recent court rulings say that libraries have both the authority and responsibility to protect children from harmful content, and doing so is not censorship. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaper with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
A World War II veteran from Daleville passed away at the age of 103. Milton Doggett was one of 65,000 still living veterans from that war. Doggett was laid to rest this past Monday at the Sunset Memorial Park in Dothan with military honors. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
There's nothing quite as exciting as another college football season kicking off. Eating Pizza Perfect pizza while watching the games makes it that much more enjoyable. In September, get $4 off any large pizza. You already know about the great pizza buffet at Pizza Perfect. Besides all the pizza you can eat, it includes spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink for only $13 at lunch and for dinner on Tuesday and Friday and all day Saturday. Pizza Perfect on Coliseum Boulevard in East Brook.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Woodward, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Did you know that more Americans listen to radio than use Facebook each week? Did you know that 77% of listeners would try a brand or product endorsed by their favorite radio personality? Contact me, Cheryl Woodward, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Dinner at Epicure isn't just dinner, it's an experience. The best steaks in the Southeast, guaranteed. The Brazilian flap steak, you won't find anything to compare. And if seafood's your thing, the hand-breaded shrimp, triggerfish, and American farm-raised catfish are as fresh as it gets. And pasta, let's just say this isn't your garden variety pasta. It's Epicure, flavorful, fresh, and unforgettable. An extensive wine list, 58 beers on tap, and pick 2 dinners for just $52.99. Epicure, Tuesday through Friday, 4 till 9. Taste the difference.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrica here in the studio with me. It was good seeing the whole Alabama delegation there in the Oval Office. Apparently, the questions from the press are continuing. about everything under the sun, from the crime issues to where to send National Guard troops. Did you catch that one thing Trump said just over the last few minutes? We shot out a drug carrying boat, and there's more where that came from. These came out of Venezuela.
There is a fleet of semi-submersibles, the kind of the narco subs you may have been seeing on the TV, but these are a little more advanced. They got radar, so they can pick up, surface vessels and stuff that are tracking them. So yeah, this is a big deal, and I think that part of the reason that flotilla is out off the coast of Venezuela right now, the Navy's flotilla, is that they're putting pressure on the interdicting things coming and going out of there. And wouldn't be surprised if we see a Gulf of Tonkin kind of incident and as a reason to do more.
Yeah, though Gulf of Tonkin, don't get me started on that again.
I'm just saying it's smoke and mirrors, but
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of the actual report. Like one of the guys, they knew Gulf of Tonkin was, and they tell Johnson otherwise, President Johnson.
Basically, yeah. Did you know who the fleet commander was at the Gulf of Tonkin? Jim Morrison's dad of the Doors.
Really?
Yes, he was an admiral.
Yeah. So was it not just state? It was like a mistake too on the part of Vietnam. Like, they're like, we didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, they did, but they used that and ran with it so they could start hostilities. Yeah.
Yeah, so just seeing if Trump is anything big or breaking coming out as we were on break. Nothing pertaining to Alabama, it looks like. Going on and on about how the left continues to push back on his crackdown on crime agenda. But good to see Senator Britt, Senator Tuberville, Congressman Barry Moore. Barry right over the president's shoulder still.
Yeah.
What do you think of that new?
I was just saying, he's got
slick back haircut.
It's a Prince Valiant look. He's got the Prince Valiant look.
Yeah, he's definitely running for Senate.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Man, you got to wonder too, because I think it is between Barry Moore and Steve Marshall at this point.
Sure.
Like, what is that race going to come down to? Because being there in the Oval, right next to the president, that's a great look. It's a great thing to put out in an ad.
There is rumors amiss that there'll be things coming down the road that will be released. We'll see. I'm not going to go into details with my Politico friends, but everybody's got an angle in a story. So.
I'm just looking at the closed caption and it goes, now, Katie, you can walk across the street. Well, I mean, it's not like you need to. I saw one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen. Her husband, a football player. It's totally safe. He loves talking about, apparently he loves saying that big, beautiful husband of yours, Wesley.
Big, beautiful husband.
Interesting, seeing the back and forth. I'm guessing if you're a member of Congress at this point, you just kind of stand back there and shut up and watch the maestro at work.
Yep.
Like if all of a sudden they go, "Hey, Robert Adderholt, what do you think about that?"
I like JD saying, "Well, I lobbied for Ohio, but y'all too much of you. You couldn't overcome you."
And looking at Vance there in the background, what do you make of that guy at this point?
I like JD Vance. I think
like
JD
him too.
I think JD is very astute. I think he is measured. I think he realizes his role in the Trump administration is. Just let Trump go. Just do it. Just be there to support him. And I honestly believe he's the shoe-in for a Republican nomination. And I think he's got a good chance of winning and establishing another 8 years, perhaps.
And I've noticed with more and more of the White House, so does he's got this steely stare.
No, he does. He is. I look at him like a handler of Trump, but ready to pounce on anybody like Zelensky, who got dressed down that day.
Oh, my.
First of all, you show up in a sweatsuit.
You didn't even say thank
you.
you. Right. Exactly right. Well, okay. So it's official now.
I like him. He looked like a Secret Service agent back here. Watch him. He's like watching.
Yeah, he really does. I don't know. I think Barry's looking all right with that slick back hair, but yeah.
I think that Adderholt's thinking, man, I wish I could have some of that hair.
Honestly, it is interesting the different levels of these folks. Both Britt and Tuberville looked fairly comfortable there with the president.
Sure.
All the other members of Congress, they look a little out of place. And it all credit to them on this decision. They should be there. It's just being in the Oval Office. It looks like Vance obviously knows what the room's like. He's been in that room now for a few months. But being in the Oval Office has to be one of the more intimidating things, especially you're on camera.
And look, it's been gilded now. It's gilded it's like the summer palace in Versailles.
It is crazy how much gold is all over the Oval at this point. But anyway, Trump's still taking questions. It's going on to the crime crackdown and how successful they've been in Washington, D.C., which they have been.
So
pretty incredible.
When I was in D.C. or working with the Corps of Engineers, one of my best friends, who's now a Navy chaplain, his neighbor was a chief engineer for the federal district of DC, did projects, renovations. He brought back about 80 square feet of tile from the White House backyard, the Rose Garden area that was standing, and he finished up the porch for my friend with this stuff from the White House. It was really cool. And the chief, I don't know if you know this, but there is a chief architect of the Capitol. It's like a nominated position. I think we're on the 18th now, and I think that they're the ones doing the ballroom. What do you think about the ballroom being?
I think that's a great idea. It's a good idea.
I mean,
they need something
we
like
need to
that.
have that. We need to have.
They need something like that exactly.
Yeah.
And 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's see. This is on line 2. You're on there. Hello. Well, that's just rude.
Sound like a drone.
Yeah, I think that was just a robot call. Occasionally we get those, but it's just me flying solo on this side of the desk. So
that's right.
Well, we'll be all right. Did you see that Giuliani was hospitalized?
Yeah, what happened?
It was like a terrible car crash after he had already stopped on the side of the road to help somebody.
Boy, really?
But he's been hospitalized with broken vertebra. Wow, that's multiple. After a car accident.
Not good.
He's 81. He was traveling on a highway in New Hampshire when his car was struck from behind at a high rate of speed. Said Michael Ragusa, the head of his security, Giuliani's security. He was transported to a nearby trauma center where he was diagnosed with a fractured thoracic vertebrae, multiple lacerations and contusions, as well as injuries to his left arm and lower leg. Oh my God.
Man, that's terrible.
And when I think thoracic, it's sort of that the spine leading up into the neck.
Yeah. Not good.
That's really not good.
And he was trying to render help. That's pretty noble.
His business partner and medical provider were promptly contacted and arrived at the hospital to oversee his care. Although Giuliani was injured, he is in good spirits and recovering tremendously, saying it was not a targeted attack. Okay. Asked people to refrain from spreading unfounded conspiracy theories, saying he's fully alert and conscious, and the medical team is pleased with his progress, saying he's ready and eager to return to his work. Looks forward to getting back to business in the next few days. But before the accident, Giuliani had been flagged down by a woman who was involved in a domestic violence incident, and he, quote, immediately rendered assistance and contacted 911, said his head of security. Wow. The former mayor remained on scene until law enforcement arrived to ensure the woman's safety. New Hampshire State Police said in a statement released Sunday night, they were investigating a domestic violence incident on I-93 in Manchester before 10 p.m. Eastern when the crash occurred on the other side of the interstate. As a result of the collision, both vehicles went into the median and were heavily damaged. Troopers and fire personnel who were at the scene of the first incident witnessed the collision and quickly crossed the interstate to render aid. 3 people, including Giuliani and the driver of the car he was traveling in, suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Well, but then Trump came out and started saying, like, let's get like some certain accolades to Giuliani.
Yeah, they saw the medal of what was
Medal of Freedom?
Freedom, yeah, which is the highest thing I think.
Trump put this. Here's out the True Social post. As president of the United States of America, I am pleased to announce that Rudy Giuliani, the greatest mayor in the history of New York City and an equally great American patriot, will receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom on our country's highest civilian honor. Details as to time and place to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So
that's the highest award you can win as a civilian.
Yeah, some part of me makes it seems like that's a little expedited given those injuries, and it looks like they're putting on a very sunny side of life story to what happened there. But
at 81,
essentially a broken neck and bruises and lacerations all over your body. Good luck with that, Mr. Mayor. Good luck with that. Man, Trump's still taking questions from these guys?
He was just talking a minute ago. He was going into the security capabilities of the White House, how all the windows and the HVAC system is completely closed off, so can't attack it, with chemicals or anything. And then everything's bulletproof on the windows. He says, I don't know what they're going through, but
you know what? I kind of want to pick up some more of this because you never know what's going to happen. And given that we've got all of Alabama's delegation in there, most of them at least,
he goes in many different directions.
Let's pick up a little more of this. Actually, catch up with it live. Yep. Let's see. Make sure I share it on the stream. Here we go.
The devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars. And by the way, all these countries signed agreements. As an example, they're all happy. Everybody's happy. But some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that, because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes. I'd love to do that. Oh, if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes, and we need a certain number in the House. I think we'd get, I don't know, we have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money. And here's the thing. We signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries are paying us $950 billion. And they're happy about it. They're okay. As one of them said, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay.
We talked about controlling the sky. On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was let.
With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about it, too, about this.
True, NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Considering reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
No, we get along with India very well. But India you have to understand, for many years, it was a one-sided relationship. Only now, since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we therefore weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant. And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So what we're doing is literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S., car companies, AI, but, you know, more traditionally car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now. And they're coming from China, they're coming from Mexico, I must tell you, and they're coming from Canada. A lot of them coming from Canada. But they're coming into our country because they want to build here. And they want to build here for two reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here. And number two, the tariffs are protecting them. And number three, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. You know, when you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Mr. President,
Go ahead,
in
please.
light of the Minnesota shooting last week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats? And
So
violence?
religious liberty is so important. And we're talking about every religion now. And we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done. And we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Yeah, please.
On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. It will get somebody else.
Colorado.
I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. Look, I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well, your radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado. Once you have all mail-in voting, and for whatever reason, the Democrats cheat.
Again, folks, this is happening live in the Oval Office, and I'm carrying it this long because Trump is surrounded by Alabama delegation. Senator Britt, Senator Tuberville, there's Barry Moore right behind him. So it's an interesting shot. Just kind of watch to see if anything comes up.
National security, moving this to Alabama, we all can agree with that. Is there any idea of the economic impact this has on the state and on that local area?
Katie, do you want to answer that?
Look, I mean,
Please go.
this is going to be tremendous. I mean, the state of Alabama, what we've seen through this process is the worst of Washington. We've seen politics get in the way of what is best for the warfighter, what's best for national security. And the state of Alabama is about to show the country the best among us. So we know the economic impact is going to be tremendous. There at Redstone Arsenal, we're proud to house everything from the FBI to headquarters there for material command to a number of things. We obviously have NASA with Marshall Space Flight Center. And so this naturally fits within. When you look at the decision matrix that they placed in front of us, that's why we ranked so high, is because we have the resources necessary and the ability to build out quickly to meet the needs in front of us. As far as economic impact, it would be tremendous. Does anybody have an exact number? 1,600 jobs. With 3,000 spinoff. Look at this. This is teamwork right here. So we are really proud, and the people of Alabama are ready to get to work.
And I've got a housing question, if you could, just for a second, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
please.
Owning a home and going about the American dream seems like it's out of touch for a lot of Americans. Just
Yeah.
recently, you pushed out a statement about addressing an emergency housing situation.
That's right. We're thinking about doing that.
Yeah, can you just?
Well, we need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. It's too late. Way too late.
That was great.
The economy is so strong that it's pushing through that. Normally, it would have been much tougher, but we're doing so well that we're pushing through it. But it makes it very hard for people to get mortgages because too late is too late. Very simple. He's too late. And probably political, whatever. He wasn't too late before the election. Before the election, he was cutting rates, right? Because he was hoping that, I guess, Biden would get in, or that Kamala would. He was a big Biden guy. Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person, but he was hoping, I guess, she'd win. I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But yeah, we need a very serious cut. You know, I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest, even if they were doing badly. the United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. It's so big. And I made it really big in the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did. But we built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus, it gets us great negotiating. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of trade. And numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. It gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations, asking to get help from the United States government, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years, that's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us, if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk to us about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings. Now, you know, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews, but I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great buildings get bad reviews. So, but it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here, you know, for 150 years, they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level using great architects and all. And, you know, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C. is like a different place. And, you know, even the contractor said, sir, we walked down today, we feel like much safer. It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great. Now, we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years to build a road that was exactly the same by the time you build it. But we're going to put toppings. We're going to put new medians in. We're going to get the graffiti off. We're going to put tiles up in the tunnels where the tiles are missing. And we'll do the whole tunnel instead of, you know, a little area where you see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good, but they could use it. You know, they've been up for 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. We're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be crime-free, and it's going to be spick and span. It's going to be, you'll be proud of Washington again. Go ahead, please.
Sir, China's having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret that as a challenge to this? And are you concerned at all about those countries?
No.
Trying to be some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know, but China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all, no. And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't,
Pray something
take
does.
a different stance.
March today in California ruled that your deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal. Do you have any response?
Well,
reaction to that?
it was a radical left judge, but very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made? Pretty much of a statement, I think.
Well, I was asking for your response.
No, you didn't say what the judge said, though. The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Again, that was happening live from the Oval Office. Took more of that than usual because, well, there's Katie Britt, there's Tommy Tuberville, there's our mini congressman from Gary Palmer.
Barry Moore looks out.
Barry Moore.
He's like, hey.
Yeah, Barry Moore's got a different look to him.
Yeah, he does.
I think he needs to eat.
I think he didn't eat breakfast or lunch.
Yeah, he needs to eat some food. Just saying, looking at his face.
He's looking
he needs
like
to
he-
eat something,
there
man.
you go.
Eat a Snickers or something. But yeah, and I never heard Dale Strong speak before. Pretty effective orator, I have to say.
Yeah.
At least for us here in Alabama. So yeah, there you go. Huntsville will now be the home of Space Command. What a day. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
I'm Jim Smith with Adams Drugs, and what our customers say about our business is the most important advertising tool. I'm here with Ronnie Taunton, who is a longtime customer of Adams Drugs, moved away for 3 years, and came back to town recently. Ronnie, how easy was it to move your business back to Adams Drugs?
Jim, it was very easy. All we did was make a phone call to the store in Prattville. That's where we live now, and they took it from there, and I didn't do anything else.
What has your overall experience been like here at Adams Drugs?
Well, we are glad to be back with Adams. We've had quite an experience in some towns we lived in, and they have great service. You can tell that the employees are glad to be there to serve you, and I couldn't ask for any more. Whatever formula the Vinson family has, they need to keep it in a safe place because it's certainly working.
Come into any of our 12 Adams Drugs locations. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net to find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
When it comes to selling your home, would you trust your biggest investment to a part-time agent? Someone who might treat your sale as a second priority? Not us. I'm Hannah Grantham.
And I'm Eddie Bader. Real estate is all we do and all we've been doing for over a decade.
That's right. We work around the clock to make sure you and your investment are top priority. We're top producing agents with a highly respected reputation for results, and we'll treat you and your sale with the respect and time you deserve.
So if you're thinking of selling, call or text us at 334-368-6358.
And let us show you how real estate is done.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. If you got evening plans tonight, no problem. It should be a fairly nice evening with mostly clear skies. Overnight low temperature down to about 64. Tomorrow, there'll be a sun and cloud mix, a little hotter. I mean, near 90 for the high with some random afternoon and evening showers and storms possible, but many towns get skipped. Then I think we're even hotter than that by Thursday, Friday, Saturday with high temperatures in the lower 90s and a little bit more humid, upper 60s at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Ready to borrow smarter this season? Apply online in minutes at yourasecu.com. Call 334-270-9011 or visit your local branch today.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASD.
Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Oh, welcome back into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. Been here pretty much all day. And Pamela Dubuque now joining us. How you doing today, Pamela?
Good.
Good?
Oh, turn on my mic. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah,
Did you see any of this press conference we just played?
a little bit. I was just glad to see Trump's alive.
Well, and we missed that part during one of our breaks. Here's Trump addressing that rumor over the weekend that he was like dead or something because people hadn't seen him.
Completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see you for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really?
You didn't see that?
You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors.
So I guess he wasn't dead. Wishful thinking on some people's part, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. Here, Crawdad, I'm going to let him back on. He said he had a short word he wanted to say. Go ahead.
Thank you. I have one word for Pastor Darrell Ray Covington, who passed away in November 25th of 2012. He was Airborne Rangers.
Ooh.
So if he was listening, I wish he had here. I wish he heard that, because Darrell would say, "Booyah!"
He was a great American. I'm certain of it. I'd never met him, but you know what's funny is we talked about Saint Michael earlier. He's the patron saint of the airborne.
There you go.
There you go.
Darrell Ray Covington.
Okay.
Amen.
Booyah Rangers. That's right. Rangers lead the way.
Appreciate it, Crawdad.
Thank you.
272-9228. Now, apparently, The Rock, y'all know what I'm talking about, Dwayne Johnson, right?
Mhm.
Like, he was brought to tears. His newest movie that's coming out, called The Smashing Machine, received a 15-minute standing ovation and then sparked Oscar buzz following its premiere at the 82nd Venice Film Festival.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of movie is this?
The film, directed by Benny Safdie and starring Johnson as former amateur wrestler, MMA fighter Mark Kerr, reportedly received one of the longest ovations yet since this year's International Film Fest kicked off on Wednesday of last week. According to the outlet, according to Variety, Safdie, 39, hugged both Johnson and Emily Blunt amid the applause while shedding tears of his own. Blunt co-stars in the upcoming film as Kerr's now ex-wife, Dawn Staples. But The Rock wasn't alone in his sobs of joy, because Kerr, who made a special appearance at the film's premiere, was also caught tearing up as credits rolled and the audience stood in acknowledgement to the guy the movie was based off of. People were a little shocked though because The Rock showed up and he looked like
He's skinny.
yeah,
For him.
yeah, very
Yeah.
skinny for him, and I think it was part of the role he took on. It
Yeah.
must have been some aspect near the end of the film that he was taking this on. But you can't escape that wrestling background. One person before they screened the movie said, "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?" Johnson, of course, people reacting to how tiny he is. Though he doesn't look tiny, he just looks like low body fat.
Yeah, he's very lean.
He's very ripped. Like he's still got plenty of muscle. I think there are many a fella that would like that muscle on him. But some are saying nice transformation. Others saying he's half of what he was. So, but I saw some previews for that movie, but apparently like to get a 15-minute standing ovation.
That's a lot.
I
That's
get
a
it.
long time.
And it wouldn't it be something to go from being the biggest movie star, action star in the world to winning an Oscar for a biopic, immersing yourself and showcasing somebody's life. And it's a world he was in with the wrestling world.
Absolutely.
So that would be kind of cool. It's been a while since I'm like, I have to go see an Oscar buzz movie.
Right.
Because usually it's been the
opposite
intersectionality Olympics there.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe Hollywood is getting back to its actually making popular movies roots. That sort
Well,
of
you
thing.
can't take a lot of liberties when you're making like a biopic like that.
Right.
So
And the fact that it was aired at Venice tells me it was probably an independent studio that did it. So interesting.
Well, that's cool to see. Cool to see that The Rock is making the rounds. Man, Senator Tuberville already has an op-ed at 1819 News. Space Command coming home to Alabama. Coach Tuberville saying he can't wait to invite the president as governor to the Donald John Trump Space Headquarters or something like that. Which actually, nice little flourish there by Coach Tuberville. And you can see also Barry Moore prominently over the guy's shoulder. It's all optics. That's going to definitely show up in a campaign commercial. Barry there with the president. And some folks saying we have found a piece of art in the latest meme where it's Peter Ducey leaning in, showing the president something on his phone. And there's Barry like looking over his shoulder and JD Vance and like, what's on the phone? It's like, meme it away, boys. We need some captions. So seems like a pretty normal day after a long holiday weekend. It's been a good day.
Why couldn't we just accept that he was taking a break?
Oh, I did.
Like it's a holiday weekend.
Yeah, because folks were always, I guess, wishful thinking on certain people's part.
Right.
Yeah.
Other folks always just nervous. Is he okay? I haven't seen him for like 2 minutes. Is he all right?
Old. No.
What's 78, 79's old?
But Pamela, he took a cognitive
over life expectancy.
Pamela, he took a cognitive test at Walter Reed Medical, and they basically told him, you've done the best we've ever seen on any cognitive test.
I believe
Remember
it.
Remember he said that?
Yeah,
I said I was pretty much the greatest.
I have the best brain.
I have the best, yeah.
A really good brain. I didn't know
Better
I had the
than people
best, but
half
then
my
they did.
age.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, last break. We'll hopefully be back with Ray Bowles and Prattville Carpenter.
You may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Mike Costanza with Chappie's Deli and Jeff Baranka with Chappie's Deli. One of the reasons Chappie's Deli has been around for over 32 years is Blue Water Broadcasting.
Yes, it is, and we have the perfect faces for radio.
We sure do. And if you have a perfect face for radio, call Blue Water.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Attention business owners. Did you know that about 90% of employees and customers are unhappy when they walk into a dirty building? Let Janny King, the king of clean, keep your business pristine. Janny King's local franchise owners can handle your cleaning needs with reliable, hands-on cleaning solutions that deliver more than just a clean space. Janny King comes with regional support, which ensures consistency and quality, allowing you to focus on all the other needs of your business. Go to JannyKingCleans.com.
Janny King, the king of clean.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
the premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
The phones. As we usually close out the show with Ray Bowles of Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing today?
Man, what a good program. All I got out of that entire speech is I might need to put a store in Huntsville.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're onto something there.
Yeah.
That place is fixing to boom.
Yep.
Yeah. I got a couple cousins that live up there and work up there, and it's already crazy town.
It is.
And they haven't seen nothing yet.
Only going to get crazier.
Only going to get crazier. Hey, I have to apologize to all my Alabama buddies out there.
Oh, yeah?
That was my fault Saturday.
Really?
Straight up. Okay, so I've been born and raised in Auburn fan all these years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with Sailor going to Alabama, I tell her, baby, I love you more than the football team. I'm going to buy a T-shirt, and I'm going to wear it, and I'm going to roll Tide, and I'm going to pull for Alabama as hard as I can.
Mm.
So apparently God don't want me pulling for anybody that wins.
I think you jinxed it. I think it is your fault. I didn't believe you at first, but there you go.
Uh-huh. And Angie's already said, wait a minute, you can go back to pulling for Auburn. I said, no, baby, I'm all in. I'm all about the family. And she's like, but that's an Auburn slogan. I said, no, it's an Alabama slogan. Roll Tide. So I'm sorry, guys. Y'all have 4 years of me pulling for Alabama. Apparently the Lord doesn't want me to pull for a winning team.
Oh, man.
Well, I was going to blame the coach.
Hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt my feelings at all because I'm so used to it watching Auburn for the last 10 years.
Right.
I'm numb to it. I'm just completely numb.
Yeah.
They're all walking around with sad faces, and I just can't believe this happened. I'm like, what do you mean you can't believe this happened? This is what I've lived with for the last 10 years.
That's what
Join the
football
family,
is.
baby.
Welcome to the suck, right?
Yeah. Well, now they're all asking. She's asking when basketball season started. Wow. But hey, if y'all need a floor, call us 285-8117. If you're talking about moving to Huntsville, don't go quite that far. But yeah, we really maybe we need to look in going up there.
Yeah, at least create a satellite office or something.
Yeah.
What about a satellite show up there?
Satellite office, get it? Space City.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, y'all do the show up there. I can do a satellite office. It ties right in.
There we go.
We can go in together. I like it.
Well, and even if we go the big time, like we're broadcasting from orbit, you can always still call them there at 285-8117. Get them to come out and do the free in-home measurement, and be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio taking blame for Bama's awful loss.
Yeah, don't be betting on it for the next 4 years.
Well, I appreciate it, Ray.
It's not going to get better. Thanks, guys.
Again, that's Ray Bowles, Prattville Carpet. Great guy, great folks there. Great store to take care of you. Yeah, I was a little shocked at Auburn's victory.
Well,
Auburn
maybe
looked good.
he's right. Alabama's going to lose and Auburn's going to win because he's not rooting for him.
No, and there are a lot of folks pointing out there's just like not much effort being
completely. They were just
shown by
sleepwalking.
Bama
They
on
were
certain
sleepwalking.
plays.
Yeah.
And that is a terrible sign of coaching. It's one thing you play hard, you get unlucky. It's another thing to have like, ooh,
It looked like they didn't want to be there.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first game of the year, that's not
That's not a
how.
good standard,
And you better believe there are already folks calling for the coach to be ousted.
Sure.
And somebody else to jump in. Now, I've long been a huge fan because he won us a Super Bowl there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of John Gruden. And Gruden kind of eyeing his big comeback, taking on the NFL after they canceled him, and Barstool Sports giving him a big gig. And if he gets back into coaching, he might be what the doctor ordered. No, he is a foul-mouthed, like SOB that loves football from the time he wakes up to the time he puts his head down.
He's from Dayton, Ohio. That's why, because they throw dildos onto the floor. You remember that and stuff? So,
that WNBA game.
I told you they're foul-mouthed up there.
And Gruden's one of those guys that doesn't just naturally, he doesn't sleep much.
No, he does. He's a worker.
Like he's only like a 2-3 hour a night kind of guy. And he's been that way since he was a kid.
Yep.
So they're like, what did you do? And he's like, I'm always watching game tape.
Yep.
Even since he's been retired, he just loves football that much. And I think he's the perfect guy to jump in and run a tight ship and build young men, not just great football players.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll be a little torn having to see Coach Gruden in the Crimson But I don't know.
We're not there yet.
See who's on line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, Lord, have mercy, Joey. Man, I'm so worried about these Bama's, boy. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I'm talking about mental illness, boy. Ooh,
What do you mean?
man. Oh, these Bama's, boy, they one of my buddies won't answer the phone. I've been calling him since Saturday. I wonder if he's dead. I need to drive to Georgia, check on him or something, boy. He won't answer the damn phone. That's what he do when they look at the ass tore up, though, boy. Oh, have mercy.
But you're just checking in on him
no.
like a wellness check, sort of.
I wasn't gonna call something about it no more today, but I'm worried about him, man. Talking about you need to do a national mental illness check on these cats and girls, boy. This guy on TV throwing birds in front of the world in Madison State of Alabama. What's wrong with him, boy? Wants to drag the wants to do a tractor drive, tractor pull with the damn coach up and down the road and stuff like that. Man, but let me go, man. I've got to pray for
Well,
him.
and then to
Boy,
have
still
like
a
Trump
solid
bring it
prayer.
up in the Oval Office that Bama lost too.
Yeah, and that will sit way up there. Oh, Lord, that boy, he showed up ain't answer the phone now.
Tuberville says, but Auburn won.
yeah.
Auburn won.
Man, well, these Bama's can't handle it, though.
They can't.
Oh, I ain't seen nothing like it. I'm talking about, boy.
So-
You know, I love it the hell out of it. I love the hell out of it, though.
It's going to be a long. It's going to be a long year.
Maybe the Bammers need to put to heart that old Tom Petty song. Even the losers
That's right.
get lucky sometimes.
It's going to be a long year.
Woo! Give me a roll time. I want you to play something for me, Joe. You know about Prince more than me, right?
Yeah, sure.
You know the little Nicky song, right?
Darling Nikki,
Right
yeah.
at the end, before he went off the song went off the air, he would say, "Come back, Nicky, come back."
Right.
Play that for me, please, for the Bammers. They need Nicky right now.
That's funny.
I'll have to get it. Thank you, Dick. I don't know. That's a good note to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a heck of an opening weekend. Auburn looked great. Bama did not look good. Maybe they can pick up the pieces. If not, I think DeBoer's gone real fast.
Ohio State's defense is smothering.
Yeah, Ohio State looked
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
And Arch Manning, the young Arch, I
upstate.
don't know what that sidearm throw is.
His mechanics, I think, are terrible, but he is an incredible athlete.
Yeah, maybe he had the
you know,
yips
but
first game in
Maybe.
a big college game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Lots of pressure.
But a lot of people crowned him that, and I think there's a lot of pressure on that kid. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. All right. Well, and then last night I got caught up. I missed my fantasy draft because I got watching the new Kill Tony
Oh no.
with Donnell Rawlings and Rob Schneider, and it was great.
That's great.
It was hilarious. Like we were falling out of our chairs laughing.
That's great.
So you'll check that out. It was worth your time. Anyway, thank you for being here today, Troy.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure to be with you.
And happy hours next.
Happy hours next.
Any big plans?
David's going to be on today.
David
since
Blackman.
We were off yesterday.
Awesome.
Yep.
Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.